Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Boy, it has been a minute since I've done one of these videos. I had to think for a minute to remember how this routine even goes. So for this week, we're getting back to the regular content of homemade MREs. Last week, I went on a little road trip with the family to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I found 4 grocery stores that I don't have in my area. One of them you've seen before, 3 of them are brand new to the channel. So to kick this one off, we're gonna go to Albertson's. This is another one of those stores that a bunch of y'all have been asking for. I don't know much about the company, but I do know that Albertson's is the second largest grocery store chain in the country. But hopefully we're gonna be able to find enough things to make an MRE and to make it with things we haven't seen before. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the Dad Budget Adventures Homemade MRE Menu AL1 for Albertson's. All right, so let's open up this bag and see what's inside our homemade MRE for this week. All right, so for our main, I picked up something that I can't recall if I've used this particular item on the channel before, but I got it to go with something that I know I haven't used here before. So we're gonna kick things off with the ready pasta from Pasta Barilla. I chose the rotini pasta because I like the fact that it's got all the grooves in it, so it's able to hold on to sauce a little bit better than just like straight spaghetti noodles. But to go with it, I finally found something that is one of my wife's favorites, but we don't have it in hardly any stores in our area. I've only found 2 that carry it, and unfortunately they don't carry enough other stuff for me to build a homemade MRE there. So I have not been able to use this product at all in one of these videos. Now this is one that, other than the fact that my wife really likes it, I still haven't tried it myself. Every time I buy this, she takes it to work, I never get a bite of it. So to go with that pasta, I got some of the Naturas Criollo sauce, which is just like a Latin influenced spaghetti sauce. It's fully seasoned and flavored. It's not just like tomato paste or something. It's actually a spaghetti sauce, and it comes in this little soft packet, which is super cool. Now, if we prepare the pasta that way, it's going to be a vegetarian dish, but we always like to have the option of adding meat if we want to, right? So for that, while I have used this product on the channel before, when it comes to adding meat into a pasta dish, there's only so many options out there that I can use. So I picked up a pack of the Starkist Beef Creations Sloppy Joe meat. This is seasoned beef in sauce, and it's actually a pretty decent product. But as we've discussed before, price-wise, the packets themselves are not terribly expensive, but when you really break down the net cost, it's not a great deal, but we are paying for the convenience of the packaging. So before we go any further into what's in the rest of our MRE, let's get this stuff into the trucker's lunchbox so we can start it to cooking. Like I said, we don't have to have the meat to go with that. I'm just preparing that as an additional little kick to make it just that much better. Now to top it off and make it a little more like home cooking, I also added a pack of Parmesan cheese that I got from my local pizza shop the last time I ordered pizza there. They offered, so I grabbed a few packs, and since we have Parmesan in the fridge normally, I just kept all these. All right, next up for our walking around snack, I picked up one of the Jack Link's original flavor meat snack sticks. I don't recall if I've ever had these before. You know, one of the things about doing these videos every week is that over time, I kind of forget what I haven't had used. And while I should probably go back and review all my videos and make a spreadsheet of everything that's in there, that's a whole lot of work. And I'm not sure I'm willing to take the time to do that. I would literally have to watch every one of my videos in order to make that list so that I can make sure that I can call it up and say yes or no, I have or have not had that item in a video before. And I'm not sure it's that important to me. It's probably not that important to you either. So yeah, there it is. For our dessert, I had a hard time finding a dessert that not only had a little bit of a shelf life to it, but also was something that I would like to eat or that I hadn't already used before. I've noticed that as the economy has been struggling the last few years, it's getting harder and harder for me to find items with a good best by date for using in MREs. Now, I don't need a lecture on what that means. I get it all the time from people that want to pop in and tell me how stupid I am because I don't understand the difference between a best by date and expiration date and blah, 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 blah. But it is getting harder and harder to find items that have a long shelf life expectancy because stores are starting to keep things on the shelves longer so that they can get money back, whereas before they would have just thrown it away. But for this particular meal, I managed to find something that fit all of my parameters, plus it was something that sounded like I would like it. It's unusual, and it's an item that you might see a similar variation on in an actual MRE. And for that, I picked up some Pop-Tarts. Not just Pop-Tarts, special Pop-Tarts. I picked up some of the Pop-Tarts Girl Scout cookies, coconut caramel. That's the Samoa cookies right there. And a Pop-Tart. That just sounded right up my alley. That's my favorite of the Girl Scout cookies. And to have that in a Pop-Tart just sounded like something I would enjoy. And finally, for our beverage, I picked up a pack of the Sonic drink mix in the ocean water flavor. I used to love ocean water drinks at Sonic. I've kind of gotten away from them because they're very sugary, and that's a whole lot of calories to just drink. But I do love that flavor. And so I figured with this version here, this might be worth a try. Not to mention, sugar-free, which does mean that it has a sugar substitute in it, which I'm usually not a big fan of, but I can make it work for these instances when I'm doing meals like this. Keep in mind something, people. I don't eat like this every day. This is a once a week thing that I do when I'm making these videos. So for those of you that are worried about my arteries or my heart or my cholesterol or whatever, calm down. It's going to be okay. I don't eat like this a lot. All right, so that's everything that is in our homemade MRE from Albertsons. Let's start trying some of this stuff to see what's good and what's maybe not so good. First thing off, let's mix up this drink in case something in that bag is funky. We're going to mix this up in my finest redneck Chinaware. Look at that color. Let's stir that up. Yep, there's that coconutty smell. It smells like the tropics, and it's turning my sport blue. So you woodworkers out there, if you need something to stain woodwork blue, maybe get some of that. So really, I've only got two things I can try before the entree is ready, and that is our Jack Link snack stick and the beverage. So let's do that. There we go. Ooh, it's very smoky. And it's a little different from like the Slim Jim style sticks. This is more like a sausage. It's like, it's twisted off at both ends. It does smell really good though. I like that smokiness to it. Let's snap off, well, I don't think we can use that with Jack Links, but let's go mess with Sasquatch. You want a bite or what? I don't think he likes being messed with. This has a good smokiness to it. It's very similar flavor to Slim Jims, but with a little more smokiness. Very salty, which you expect from something like this, but it's pretty tasty. Now, of course, with the addition of this meat stick into the meal, if you wanted to opt to not add any meat into the pasta, you could get your protein and stuff this way. Oops. All right, so now that we've worked up a significant thirst, let's give our ocean water a try. It's got a very bright smell to it. The coconut is there, that fruitiness is there. It just smells really refreshing, but I mean, that blue color, look how deep that blue color is. That's a lot of food coloring. I don't think that's necessary. You don't need that much food coloring in a drink. Cheers. So I like the flavor. I don't really care for the taste of the artificial sweetener that's in here. It's very obvious that this is artificially sweetened. And it almost has a separate flavor to the sweetener than what the rest of this drink brings. I think if I were very thirsty, it would be good. I could probably drink a lot of it. But just sipping on this, I could only drink so much of it before I get tired of that aftertaste. All right, I think it's time to dive into our entree and see what we've concocted with this pasta. Let's get our pasta barilla rotini out and into a bowl. It's got a very, very weedy smell to it. It's almost like you can smell flour in these things. So let's get that out into a bowl. All right, so let's get out one of these little noodles and give this a try. See what that's going to be like. Very plain because it tastes like there is zero salt in here, but it's got a good texture to it. It's got a good flavor to it, what I can taste, but that's definitely going to be a good foundation for what we're doing here. Now this I'm really curious about. I know the wife loves it, so it's got to be good. She can be pretty snooty about food, so I got good and hot. All right, let's pour this over here. Ooh, that's a nice looking sauce. Look at this. I'm just going to dump it all in here because I figure we brought it, we don't eat it. Let's try a little sample of that sauce. It's nice and chunky. Look at that. I kind of expected it to just be just a pureed sauce, but that's got some substance to it. It smells really good. It's not a traditional spaghetti sauce smell. It's got a certain edge to it that's very different. And you can tell it's got some Latin-inspired seasoning in there. So let's get a bite of that and try it. Ooh, that's really good stuff. My goodness. It tastes like there might be some cumin, maybe some chili powder. It's definitely a very, very different flavor palette than you're used to with spaghetti sauce. Now, let me mix this up a little bit, and then I'm going to get a bite with some of the sauce and some of the pasta. Let's get us a good healthy bite of that. Bon appetit. There's nothing not to like about that. This would be perfect as is. It needs nothing else. But we did bring meat and we warmed that meat up. Let's add it in there, see what happens next. All right, let's get this open. Let's add that in with the rest of our meal. All right, let's stir that up. Get these nice and mixed in. Let everybody get to know each other. Everybody in the pool. All right, there we go. Let's get a great big giant bite with all of that. Some meat, some pasta, some sauce, down the hatch. Folks, that works surprisingly well. I continue to be amazed that Beef Creation Sloppy Joe has such a good flavor when it comes to blending it with pasta dishes. When I did this in a prior video, I added it into an instant pasta bowl and it worked really well with that. And since then, I've kept all that stuff at work with me and that has saved my butt for lunch on so many occasions. But we got one more thing to try, right? Let's add our Parmesan cheese. Let's get that on there and let's finish this properly. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. There is a proper bite. Here we go. You know what? That just works. I'm not going to tell you this tastes like something you get in an Italian restaurant, but if you're out on the trail, if you're camping, if you're RVing and you don't feel like preparing a big meal for the night, you can do worse, for sure. That sauce has a little heat to it. Starts to catch up with you after a minute. Definitely got some chili powder in there. This is another one of those meals that makes me want to just keep at it. I love me some pasta. You know, spaghetti has always been one of my favorite foods. So when I can find ways that I can take it with me, I'm going to go for that. All right, so we got one more thing to try, and that is our Girl Scout Cookie Pop-Tart. But if you are liking this content, please give the video a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell to be made aware of all upcoming videos. And as always, feed the algorithm. Leave a comment and tell me what you think about this meal or any or all of the items that are in there. And also be sure to keep coming back around because for the next few weeks, I'm going to be going through the rest of the MREs that I made while I was in Dallas. We've also got some really cool freeze drying experiments coming up, as well as other things. All right, so now let's get into this Pop-Tart and see just how our Girl Scout Cookie Samoa Pop-Tarts are. I mean, I figure a coconut Pop-Tart will go really well with that coconut ocean water drink, right? Ooh, wow. That has such a rich, sweet smell. It doesn't smell so much like Samoa's, but it smells delicious. All right, I got to get in here and give this a try. Let's pop off a little corner. Give that a taste. Normally when companies come out with a product where they're trying to kind of merge with something else, I'm not a big fan of it because it feels like they tried too hard and just overdid it. That right there, I'd get those again any day. That is a tasty treat. I can't wait to try that toasted with some butter on it. How do you like your Pop-Tarts? Leave me a comment down below and tell me how you prepare your Pop-Tarts the way you want to eat them. Okay, that's it. That's everything in our homemade MRE from Albertsons. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a really good time hitting up all those stores that I don't have in my area, trying to find unique items that I can use in one of these videos. It made for some really good side quests during our vacation. And it's also a lot of fun to get our family and travel buddies involved in the process of trying to find the things for these meals. But that's gonna be a wrap for this one. And until the next one, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. And we'll see you around.